had boxes and boxes and boxes of Go-Go Squeezes.
In corporate America, that was my job, but I've always been passionate about food and the environment. Over 800.
Wow.
I know. It's really resonated with people because it's so simple, right?
Anything social justice driven, it's a lot to carry mentally. Giving people like the opportunity to feel dignity when they're accessing these resources.
And for me, it was just that moment of like, okay, it's not just me that thinks this is a good idea.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Small Lake City podcast. I'm your host, Eric Nielsen, and this week's guests are Laila and Dana from Wasteless Solutions. Now, Dana is the founder and CEO of Wasteless Solutions, and Laila is their community engagement manager. Now, Wasteless Solutions is a nonprofit organization aimed to eliminate food waste and get food into the hands of people that need it the most. They share more of the insights into their day-to-day lives as they go about collecting and distributing a lot of food from some of your favorite places around the valley and what we can do as a community to support them and also waste less food in our own lives. Two great people making Salt Lake a better place and helping where they can. But you guys are going to enjoy this one. It was a great conversation with both of them. So enjoy. Yeah, if anything feels too loud, too quiet, we can adjust things and we can go from there.
You sound like a radio voice right now.
See, people say, like, people, you're not the first person to say that to me. And, like, in my opinion, like, I don't have a radio. Like, I ramble a lot. I mumble a lot. I talk really fast. But it's interesting. People are like, yeah, you have it. I'm like,
I didn't hear it until you put that on. I'm like,
sure.
Oh, there it is.
And here we are. Yeah, I could not be a radio person. Well, I mean, I guess I kind of am in a way. Like if this was 20 years ago, it'd be on the radio. And it was fun when I recorded with, like when I had Frankie and Jess on the podcast, they were fun because I mean, they did radio for like 20 years. And it's funny just to hear them compare the differences in like lifestyle. And he's like, I don't have to wake up at like 3:45 in the morning anymore. Right. Like, cause no, thank you. I am not a morning person. Never will be. Yeah, like
you got it on.
Yeah, and it's exhausting. Like I always kind of two rules I have with the podcast is one, don't record more than one episode in a day because I just get exhausted. And like every time I've recorded more than one, it's like, yeah, the second one, I'm like, I'm not on and I don't like this. And so you like to prepare for all of that. No thanks, but good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even I met someone recently that was in radio and I was like, surprising that like it's like imagine someone today being like I want to go work for the newspaper. Like print only. I don't want anything else. Very different.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, dying art, but good luck. Wait, remember your last name, Dana?
Williamson.
Dana Williamson and Laila
Hacker Reinen.
Reinen.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a mouthful. Where's that from?
Finland.
That makes sense. I'm a very strong Swede. Like my last, actually this is relevant for this week. It was kind of weird. So every now and then, like I'll have the weirdest kind of like, they're small Lake City moments, but it'll come in like new ways. And especially like on social media as like that's grown and posting things like there was one, it was like 2 months ago, just got a DM, not unbeknownst. And she was like, all it said was, did you give your number to a flight attendant on a podcast sticker last January? And I was like, Yes, I did. Like there was this flight I was on that, sorry, Mom, I was really hungover. And I look at the flight attendant and I was like, hey, I just need some water and maybe a coffee. And she could kind of see in my, she's like, Roger. So she comes back. She even has ibuprofen for me. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. But then she like tells the rest of the flight attendant crew and they just keep bringing me drinks the entire time, which like, I'm not going to say no. And so we get to we land in Hawaii. And I look at my sister and like we were traveling together because we're both single. She has 2 kids. So it's easier for us just to kind of rent a car, do everything together. And so we get there. I was like, hey, I'm going to need you to drive the car to the hotel. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, they got me drunk. And she's like, sure they did. I'm like, no, really? And so this girl comes back. She's like, hey, I lost that sticker in your number. Like, funny world. I'm like, this is all sorts of that. But anyway, last name, Swedish. So my last name is very specifically spelled Nilsson. There's a million ways to spell Nelson, Nielsen, but only 2 that are non-familial that I run into. And so one was when I was at the MTC on my mission once upon a time, and I'm walking somewhere, I see this guy, same name on his name tag. I'm like, I'm gonna come find you later. Like there's something here, and yada yada yada. I do. I'm like, hey, like tell me about this. Like I don't see me. Like, and I'm sure you feel the same. He's like, oh well, it's actually my mom's last name was Nelson. My dad's last name was Nielsen. So instead of picking one, they just made Nilsen. And I was like, that's fraud, stolen valor. You can't have that. But then so recently I was, just on Instagram as I do, and there was someone that liked something, and I was like, whoa, last name, hold on. So I follow her and start DMing. I'm like, who are you? Where are you from? But it was weird because like she was from like Holiday, like went like school around there. Her family, like it's a normal. And I was like,
but you're not
no
related.
idea. But I'm gonna get coffee with her. I'm gonna go figure this out because it's.
You need to do like ancestry.com or something.
Yeah, like that's what I was because
or 23andMe.
Well, because both of us joked that we're not. We both post-Mormon life, and so we're like, we can't just go to the genealogy and then look this up, or else we put it together. But yeah, I mean, if the data on the 23andMe hasn't been deleted yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thankfully they never did that, or else I'd be a little panicked.
I know. Makes you wonder. I've been curious about the ancestry all of a sudden. I watched that series on National Geographic called No Taste Like Home. So good. It's about food and ancestry tied with food. And so it made me think, like, I want to connect. I want to see, like, I'm passionate about food. Where did that come from? So I went on ancestry.com, and of course it's like really expensive, and it's by the month, and you get cheaper if you do 6 months. And I'm just like, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah. Like, thanks for the information. You don't need to do this.
Actually crazy because I have heard that like if you eat according to the diet that your ancestors ate, like your body will feel better.
I've been hearing that too.
I need to eat a lot more fish.
Yes.
I know, isn't that always just like if you're Nordic,
Yeah.
it's probably a lot of fish and
Root vegetables, maybe.
probably root vegetables. It's so cold.
I'm trying to think, because like no one's ever like, oh man, the food in Sweden was amazing.
Right. Because they're hardy people there, and most seem very attractive. So
It's working. I need to go back to my people. Be like, listen, your skincare. Can we talk about this? They're like, it's whale blubber. We eat it 3 times a month. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll do it for the look. People have done way worse for less and or more. But no, I'm excited to talk to you guys because it's fun when like different parts of my life start to come together. And as I was telling you both when I came out, is I come to the gym at Edison almost every morning, and there used to always be this van parked right in front. It would say Wasteless Solutions. It would have, the typical branding that you guys have. And I think I looked it up the first time I saw it. I was like, oh, cool, like interesting. And it just kept being there and being there and being there. And then it wasn't until I had Nick Zacco on the podcast, the executive chef for Urban Hill. And he was like, oh, you got to talk to them. And I'm like, yeah, I do. So it's fun when like things come back full circle, and then I get to find out, because then you were telling me it's like the van's there because you live next door.
Yep.
And then now it's at the office.
yeah, we closed the loop of mystery for you when you doubted where the truck was. It's now safely at a new home, and now it has a sister.
And now it has a sister.
Yeah,
yes.
see, and it does. I don't have like I can't follow it on Instagram and get those family updates when someone moves on in your life.
Maybe we need to start a new website for her. Name's Alice. That
Alice.
truck, by the way, after Alice Waters, the woman behind Farm to Table out of Berkeley.
Huh.
Yeah,
The more you know.
we need a new name for her sister.
Yeah.
We'll have to think about
that.
So if anybody has an idea,
Put it in the comments.
see,
Like and comment.
you're killing it. Here, we just tip that mic up a little bit though, and maybe move it a tiny bit closer to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I saw Alice all the time, and then when Nick, because like I have a very weirdly privileged life of being able to find out random things about random things. Like I posted about the Colored Scriptures billboard, and like 24 hours later, I know the company that owns it, the woman that updates it every day, like just like all of these random things. I'm like, there's no way else in the world I could have easily just been like, all right, time for some investigative journalism on a billboard.
So can you confirm how they are, like, every time they get a sale, they update the number?
No. So it's a little bit less complicated than that. So with them, so it used to be a billboard that it was about, I think it was about overdoses before they bought it. They knew that the company wasn't going to renew, and they're like, hey, like, let's try something new. So the company that owns it actually isn't even called Colored Scriptures. It's this kind of like premiumized scriptures. So they buy it from the church, then they put like a better cover on it and they sell it. And so it used to be like, again, like overdose deaths, but then it changed to that. And there's a woman that updates it every day. So if you don't see it change on the weekends, it's because she's not in the office.
See, I've always wondered that because I drive past that billboard and I'm like, wow. They sold another 10.
Yeah, they're up.
There they go.
And then there's the people that are like, it doesn't ever change. I'm like, listen, I drive by because it's freeway exit that frequents my life is 6 North, and it's like right past that, especially if I'm going like anywhere. And so every day I'm like, yep. And even out of spite, I'm like, see, it did go up. I'm not crazy. And then she told me who she was. I was updating it, and the guy, well, even there's a person, because they DM'd me after, they're like, hey, me and my wife drive by there every day, and we are starting to fill out this spreadsheet of what it is every day to see how much it changes, and we're going to track it over.
Yeah, I think I saw something like that online. Thought that was funny.
That's hysterical. So again, like the most random of things that I just get to be able to be like, I'm curious. Let me dive in here.
That's the fun part of social media, right? Like, I think about it when people say, let's stay in touch. I'm like, it's social, because I'm not going to like write you all a blog to you all and keep in touch. And you can't call it, like, it just is so funny. And I think that's where social media is good. And it shows you inside people's minds. Like, we want the little mundane stuff sometimes.
Yeah. Give me a quick little update. Like, I'm not going to pick up a phone and call you. You're not going to do the same. That's okay. And like, I was actually talking to someone about this yesterday where I'm the person who, if I see someone I know I haven't seen in a while, I mean, everybody knows, like, oh my gosh, we should get coffee, let's grab lunch, let's do, like, it's not going to happen. So I've tried to delete that from my, like, social playbook, and instead be like, hey, it's been so good to see you. Just, like, I see what you're doing, I'm rooting for you, and I wish you the best.
I love that.
Because like sometimes we run into people, and it's not like I have any sort of ill will or negativity. It's just life are in different places, people are in different phases, and just acknowledge what it is. Realize if I haven't seen you in 6 years, we're probably not going to change that, and you can just kind of call it what it is.
Yeah, it's so much more genuine than we should get coffee. And I have this big thing, like if I run into you and you say that, to me it's on you to set it up.
Yes.
And I'm the planner, so I kind of nervously am sitting over there like, I'm not doing it. They said it. I can't keep doing this.
Yeah. It's not me, it's you. Fair. But I'm excited to hear more about this story, because like hearing and seeing so much, and especially seeing with how much waste goes into our food supply chain, I love that there's people that are trying to make it a little bit better. So, I mean, maybe before we get started, Dana, give us a quick summary on what Wasteless Food Solutions is and more.
Yeah, love to. My favorite topic. So I used to be in corporate America. That was my job, but I've always been passionate about food and the environment. And it was just on the side that I did it. And then I started getting into a point to my career of like, what's next? I don't want to do this the rest of my life. What do I want to do? And so I just started researching, what is food and environment? What kind of jobs are out there? Nothing was resonating. And when I happened upon food waste, I was like, what? How come no one's talking about this? Like, we're talking back then, everybody was talking about the straw movement. And I was like, great, but what about food? Because I just thought, before I'd throw food away in the trash and think, oh, at least it's not plastic. It's actually more harmful than plastic to our environment in terms of what it's doing to the environment, right? Plastic is bad for the animals and for us ingesting, but in terms of the actual planet health, food rotting in landfills, much worse because it lets off methane gas. So that excited me, and I was like, we need to be talking about this. And then I learned about food rescue, and at the time it was kind of happening on the East and West coasts. And I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. Everyone should have that. That makes sense. And so that was really my aha moment. And I said to myself, I don't want to just do food rescue because that's not solving the problem. My background's in operations. So in my mind, I was like, this is a problem that needs to be fixed. And so that's why I started Wasteless Solutions. It was a weekend that I was like, this is it. These two are coming together. And it was probably September 2017. I went back to Westminster University, now I have to call it. By the time Westminster College, where I graduated with my MBA, and told them what I was thinking. And the dean of the business school walked me over to the cafeteria. It was right before Christmas break, and said, well, let's just talk to them. And they were like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, we're going to be closed for 3 weeks. This food's not going to last. So I came back with my own car like a week later, and the chef just kept going like this, you'll take this, and showing me things. And it's like, yep, and loads up this double-decker cart. And I fill my car at the time, and I took it to YWCA because I knew them, so I knew they wouldn't think I was crazy. I'd worked with them.
Got some food for you.
Exactly, right.
No, it's good. I got it from a kitchen over there.
Right, I
Yes.
swear. And I saw her mind like, you got this from where? This was going to go in the trash? And for me, it was just that moment of like, okay, it's not just me that thinks this is a good idea. People on both ends think it's a good idea. And so that was December 2017. And then just started going with it. I was working my full-time job still for 4.5 years and just did it as a volunteer. And the first year self-funded it and just kind of took my time with it to see if it had traction rather than like diving full in and just like, okay, it's traction, and got on the news. And the beauty of media helps the word out. We got, I think, like 2 or 3 volunteers out of that first show, and one was a diehard volunteer for a year. So while I was working, he was out rescuing. Yeah. Just like back to our comment earlier about the universe, like it was just like, plop, here you go. Yeah. And so that's what we've been doing ever since. And just our mission is to educate and prevent, and we do the diversion through the food rescue. My particular passion is really on that education. My ultimate goal would be to get rid of food waste. And some people say, oh, but then you wouldn't be feeding people. And I joke, well, if we can solve this, we'll come over and solve that, yeah. Right? But that's the ultimate goal, is to really just end it, get enough people aware of it that we can actually end the absurd amount of food that we waste in this country.
Yes. Because, I mean, that's the conversation that everybody has about poverty, world hunger is, the amount of food's there, but how do we get it to the right people and the people that need it? Especially in like, what is it, like the majority of the world's food supply is based on like on a 2-week cycle. And so trying to be like, all right, so you're hungry in Egypt. I've got some extra onions, like things like obviously like that's hyperbolic and doesn't work, but like within, I'm sure there's a sweet spot of community size where it's like, okay, cool. So this person has this, they need this needs this. Here's like the food bank, they can take this, and really just being this, almost like switchboard of excess and scarcity.
Yeah, I like that analogy. I've always used it like UPS. Have you ever seen like sometimes they're in parking lots and their trucks are backed up and they're swapping packages in it? Like that efficiency has always intrigued me of like, you can do it with packages. We should be able to do it with food. Right?
Is why Alice got a sibling. Like, I saw these UPS trucks. I don't know what there's there, but we're going to make it happen.
That's exactly it. You're gonna see those backed up out here one day, and we'll be moving food between the two. But that was it, right? To me, it's a distribution problem, and that intrigues me. But it's much more challenging, right, than it looks. Sometimes it's a truckload of bananas and you're like, we need to move that today. Like,
it's always money in the banana stand.
Yeah, right.
Arrested Development.
Oh, yeah.
I got it.
So, yeah, I know where I was going with that.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, because, you never know what you're going to get. You could have a truckload of bananas. You could end up with, a bunch of garlic that you don't know what to do. Like, I'm sure every day, week, month, year, it's not like, oh, we can, I'm sure there's an amount of like you can expect from different people in different places, but I'm sure that every now and then it's almost like an Iron Chef, like mystery ingredient, like unveiled, be like, cool, now you have 40 pounds of peaches. Yeah. Let's go figure it out before they all go brown.
The interesting thing we get a lot that we struggle to solve is like frozen cookie dough or
I can solve that one for you.
Right? We'll bring it to you.
Like pallets? You want to solve pallets of it?
Did I hesitate? Like, if you can bring me a pallet of Ben and Jerry's, you solved my problem. Or just made everything worse in my life. But, it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Thank you. You're a giver. Or baking goods. Like we'll have people call like, I've got a pallet of flour. It's just when you think of agencies feeding people, they're not baking things, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of bread that's excess that's from bakers. So yeah, we have those. And I think the one weird one was a semi truck broke down once and it was full of frozen chicken wings. And so they needed it moved, right? Because they were defrosting.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have no idea. We called around, we tried, but like that urgency was just, one of those weird ones. We didn't solve it, sadly.
Unfortunately, nothing can be 100% effective, and rest in peace, all of the wings that we have. Yes. But then we also have Laila. So Laila, events community manager.
Community engagement manager.
Community engagement manager. Walk me through how you got involved with Wasteless and a little bit more about your role and what you do.
Yeah. So I am super passionate about all things environmental and sustainability. That's what I went to school for. And I went and kind of focused primarily in college on eco-justice education, so environmental justice, really, and learned a lot about how environmental problems are often social justice problems too. And so after college, I wasn't really sure what to do. It was kind of hard to find a job. Honestly, it is for most people. And I came across on LinkedIn a posting for food rescue coordinator at Wasteless. I put in my application late, so it was kind of...
Not your fault, by the way. That was our fault.
Okay.
Posting remained open when it shouldn't have. Let's clarify.
Something happened there technologically. I don't know. But I had heard about Wasteless in school as an organization and had just kind of been following like on Instagram and whatnot and was like, oh, this is awesome. Like this would be my dream role. Applied, but it had already been filled. But Dana called me and was like, I really like your resume, thinking about hiring another part-time role. So came on originally coordinating the prepared meal program. So repackaging rescued food into fully prepared meals for families, seniors, just people in need. And that was really great. And then after a few months came on full-time as community engagement manager and have been doing it all. Like it has been such a crazy journey, like learning so much in a year about where the needs in the community are, growing in terms of just like nonprofit operations in general has been really fantastic to learn. But it's been amazing, like being very engaged in the community and like seeing firsthand what the needs of like people that are experiencing food insecurity are.
Totally. I mean, especially to be in a role where you get to see a unique perspective that very, very few people get to see.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like everyone in a day-to-day life be like, oh yeah, I understand like this food scarcity situations and what all needs to happen to make sure who needs what and who are the people getting it, where is it coming from? Yeah, what a unique perspective to have. I mean, and in the year that you've been there, I mean, what are some of your favorite moments, least favorite moments, stressful moments that you've had?
Well, what's funny is I think it was like a day or two after starting full-time from being part-time is we did the biggest food rescue ever for Wasteless. There's a food show at the Salt Palace that I think it's every year, but it was like only once in Utah, right?
Correct.
It's called Kehi. And so a bunch of food, like sellers, what would you call them? Like merchandisers?
Yeah. Makers.
It's a convention. So like health foods, so like the Kettle brand chips would be there, or like they would be there trying to get like a grocery store like Whole Foods to buy their product.
Like a CPG product convention type thing.
Yeah. So we
consumer packaged goods.
Yeah, thank you.
I try to do better about my acronyms. Almost said anomalies. I'm like, that's not an anomaly. But anyway, yes.
Yeah. So so we were asked to do the food rescue. So after the convention, there's all this leftover food, and they can't ship it back with the company or the vendors. So we had probably like I think over 60 volunteers for like a few hours packing up food. Like had the food bank, we had the Christian Center, we had all these other nonprofits in the area come pick up food and disperse it among the community, and we saved over 50,000 pounds of food.
Wow!
So that's probably like. Starting out, I was like, man, we are starting out strong. This is
like,
so
I am
cool.
doing things. I am strong. I can do this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
And I had worked at Trader Joe's for 3 years. So I was like, yeah, I'm moving boxes. I'm making pallets. Let's go. It was so fun. That's definitely a highlight. And then...
Can I just add color to that?
Yeah.
That's when I knew she was a keeper, because I literally was like, oh, you worked at Trader Joe's. Will you be in charge of packing the pallets and putting them in the trucks? And she's like, sure. And she just went and did it. Had all these people coming and asking things. And she's like, sure.
She grabs a box cutter. She's like, watch me go.
Yeah.
I actually did. I brought my little green Trader Joe's box cutter. I was like, yes. I know what I'm doing.
You've got your Carhartt pants, perfect pocket for it, ready to go.
I actually did. You know me so well.
And proper footwear too.
Yep. I was geared up. I was ready to go. And we saved 50,000 pounds of food thanks to all those volunteers and organizations. It was amazing. It was really incredible.
I mean, that's not a bad recruiting strategy. Just go hang around Trader Joe's or like Costco. Be like, hey, I see you moving this stuff. You wanna move stuff with purpose?
Yeah. I'm gonna try that. I might steal that.
Right?
Yeah.
Listen. Whatever the podcast giveth, it taketh. It does it all. But no, I love that it's so fun that you get to have this thing that you study in school that's driven by passion that you get to do, kind of have this moment, you're like, shit, like graduation's coming, I don't know. And then have this really like, oh, cool, do that. No, it's not working out. Oh, it is working out. Oh, it's even better. Like, and get connected with such a great organization to start that. Cause I mean, everybody in a perfect world would have the job that aligns with their values and what they want to help accomplish and ideally make a better world, which sounds like such a Gen Alpha like tagline to say, but at the end of the day, like someone will come at me and be like, no, I want a job that is against my values, that has nothing to do with who I am as a person. And so, I mean, I think that's when the best sort of things happen, because you're doing your authentic self, you're showing up in the way that you want to. And even, I mean, looking like Dana, your story, I mean, you were working a job that, I mean, I'm going to assume for a second that wasn't fulfilling your needs, that you did want to do something that had a little bit more value of an impact, and you created it, but not only just for yourself, but as this almost like a lighthouse to attract other people that want to do it. And I mean, even indicative of being on, I mean, broadcast, people are like, actually, I'm into, and then have other people just keep joining and join. Like, how many people are you up to now, both at volunteers and full-time and part-time?
Over 800.
Wow.
I know. It's really resonated with people because it's so simple, right? We have an app. People sign up. They do a rescue themselves, right? They go in their car. They pick it up from where there's surplus. And so they see like, oh my gosh, I just picked up food. I'm making a difference. And then they drop it off where it's needed. And people are so grateful and gracious that it's been so rewarding. So it's been great. But I want to go back to Laila's comment. Like, you had a second part of that. I'd love to hear what was challenging or stressful.
Yeah. Any other tales to be told?
Yeah.
I mean, challenges are always present.
If it's about Dana, we can kick her out for a minute and we can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see you, Dana.
I'll hear it.
I think challenges wise, it's just like when you work in anything social justice driven, it's a lot to carry mentally. Like, you're out there seeing people struggling. Like, I mean, I think we all want to have our blinders on sometimes, like, or not take it home with you. But there's been some situations that I just see where I'm just like, man, that changes my perspective on life. Like, you know, I mean, there's people that are homeless. There's people that are housed, but like are in incredible amounts of debt or are relying on Social Security, and like that paycheck only gets them halfway through the month. And I've heard that firsthand from some of the people that receive food that we disperse, and it's a lot to carry emotionally. But like, being able to see the impact that we're making firsthand is really phenomenal too. And being on the lines with it. Yeah. Front lines, I guess. It's not the front lines. What am I saying?
It is the front lines.
In the community, I guess.
Exactly. And like, no, I love those. Again, it kind of goes back onto that, what I was saying about having those experiences where you get to see something from a unique way, because so many people live, I mean, a privileged life where they get to go home and have everything that they need. They go to their great job, and it's like they stay within their general track and don't really get off the beaten path. And I think that's why there's so much of this friction between the reality of things and kind of the life that people live. I mean, especially on the topics of homelessness and, I mean, inequality, food justice. I mean, some people just don't understand the life that people live. And I mean, obviously there's like a sweet spot of knowledge where you're like, I don't want to go into like, I don't want to deal with this every day, but it's nice to be reminded every now and then.
Yeah.
Like, it reminded me of, we'll talk about the mission again. So I was in this place called Longview, Washington, and like in Washington, it is where everybody is on food stamps. No one has a job, and I'll never forget it. This one scarred me for life. But I knocking in this trailer park and knock on this door, and this guy answers. I'm like, "Yeah, you're very drunk right now." And I go in, and there's just beer cans everywhere, cigarettes out everywhere, and in the middle of it, there's just this like toddler that's just staring at me. Could tell it hasn't had a bath, like very dirty. Like living in complete squalor, and I was just like, and like companions like, oh yes, we like come along. I'm just sitting here like
numb,
like, and I like walk out, and he was kind of like, yeah, that was a lot. I'm like, I actually like, time out, champ. Like, I just need to, and like I saw a lot of it. I mean, like the situations that people live in, the squalor that people live in, even if they do have a home, sometimes you're like, whoa, like, I do not want to be the person to clean this, but I'm so sorry that this has to be. And I mean, there's who's the quote that had where, I mean, it's essentially like a community or society that doesn't have empathy is pure evil.
Yeah.
And so like the opportunities that we have to gain that empathy and see people in their real life situations, I mean, while it being a lie, it gives us something to fight for, because it self perpetuates that value and that mission. Because imagine if you're just dropping off to perfectly curled hair, blonde Utah County moms that are just so excited. You're like, okay, like, I'm making a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's exactly how it tends to go. And so, I mean, Dana, coming back to you, I mean, what were some of those moments across, I mean, when you started everything in 2017 to now that were, I mean, kind of those like milestone moments of like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm doing. I'm making an impact.
Yeah. I'm so lucky because I feel like I have them so often, right? And it's been 8 years, and that's what's been such a joy. Earlier, you made a comment about how many people are in this, and I think that's been one of the biggest joys is that, right? You just throw a flag out and see if it lands, and people are coming and want to be a part of it. And then just the cool people that want to be a part of it, like listening to your story in your background, I'm like, that's right. Gotta do that. It's just been amazing, the people that want to be a part of it. And now we're at this place of like, people are ambassadors. I always tell this story. Layla's probably sick of it, but at the Kehi event, Laila had a friend videoing it, and I see the video at the end, right, when he puts it all together. And I see one of our top volunteers giving the spiel that used to always have to be me. And I just had this like, oh my gosh, somebody else is giving the spiel.
The movement's there.
Yes.
You started the movement.
Yes. And that's my passion. But also individual ones. I remember dropping off at the rescue mission and having you pull up, right? And there's lots of homeless people out front. A lot of people think that's a scary place. And you pull up and they see you have food, and the homeless men just walk up and help you carry it out. And then they're so grateful. Like when we started donating food from the Delta Center there, it's fully prepared food. And this, I didn't hear this from a person. I heard it through the rescue mission employee, but he said, one of the homeless people said, someone must really care about us to give us this kind of food. I know. And you're just like, oh, right in the heart.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like they're not used to that. And then we have moments, going to Comunidades Unidas and having, what we do is we take food and let them say how much they want, which we love to do that because it's choice, right? If they're like, I hate broccoli, I'm not taking broccoli. It's like, but you love mac and cheese, take it, right? We have it all. And just how grateful they are when they come in there. It's just, I don't know, that's the part that I just love. I always joke, like, when I retire, I'm like, I'll be a food rescuer.
Yeah.
Because that's my favorite part of it.
Totally. And it reminds me of Jeanette Padilla with, oh my gosh.
Food Justice Coalition.
Yes, Food Justice Coalition. I knew I was like, when you start a sentence, like, we're going to find it. We're going to find that name. It never came. With her, like, I mean, the first event that she threw in, a lot of like the ethos around what she does is like, let's bring the humanity back to this. Like, I want to set up tables and set up tablecloths and have like a table setting and have people, not just like wolfing something down on the side of the road while they're protecting everything that they own next to them where they don't know they're going to sleep that night. Like, just like a little bit of respite goes a long way. And like to have people be like, hey, come shop.
Yeah,
it's no longer, here's your bags, good luck. And like, oh, cool, I'm allergic to that. That like, this doesn't work and that doesn't, that like, great. And now they're like, no more broccoli.
Right. Yeah. Choice, giving people choice.
There's a woman, you guys should look her up. Her name's Clancy Harrison, and she did like a TEDx talk that I saw. When I first started, I was like researching a bunch on food waste, and I found her TEDx talk, and her whole thing is about food dignity. And like, that's an approach I've been wanting to like hang on to closely, like giving people like the opportunity to feel dignity when they're accessing these resources. Cause there's so many people that are eligible to get food stamps or, get any sort of social services or resources, and they don't because of that lack of dignity there. And like making it accessible, and like we've even talked about like setting up a mobile market and just like everybody in the community being able to get food. Like there's no income restriction. There's no like proving that you need it. It's just like, this is a community that's like giving back and caring for one another, like in a mutual aid approach.
Yeah. Cause I know there's like small ones, but like to have like, I mean, almost like a grocery store, convenience store type size, be like, hey, like whatever you need, we're here to help you out.
Yeah.
And so as you look at the city, you see all of these different supply chains and how you can come and fix and be like, okay, this is coming out of here. Let's put it at the top of funnel here. Let's put this here. I mean, who are the people who, I mean, are donating the most, who are benefiting the most, or who are some of these organizations that are providing a lot of resources to this?
Yeah. So we typically don't do grocery stores. The food bank does those because there's contracts with Feeding America. But we do pick up from Whole Foods because they don't have a contract, so they don't have to go with one. So they're actually, I just did the numbers on last year, they're actually donate the most, and we don't have everyday pickups. So they this is what's crazy is someone picks up every day from every grocery store. And we have like 3 days a week at 3 of the Whole Foods, and they're still our largest one. There's just so much food, right? Mm-hmm. And then our other top ones, and this is partly because of the food show that Laila mentioned, they were a big one, the Salt Palace. But they sometimes will have random big ones. We had got a call last year of a volunteer showed up with his Chevy Bolt, like as he usually does, and he's like, we have a problem. It was like 3,500 boxed lunches and salads. And so we're like, oh my gosh. So we called a bunch of volunteers, and I think we did it the next day and showed up with like 4 cars and made like 4 trips each, got it all out. So Salt Palace is a big one. And then the Delta Center. Delta Center's fully prepared food that is amazing. I mean, we get like brisket, sometimes
I was gonna say, like R&R Barbecue, J Dogs,
Yep.
like all of these places where if someone's like, "Hey, do you want a free R&R Barbecue?" Like, yeah, like I'm ready to go. Don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah, well, and that's what's fun about that one is you mentioned the homeless, and then Laila mentioned house people. It's kind of a personal passion of mine is there is so many organizations helping the homeless in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And we do provide food to many of them, but we also see of the 400,000 people that are food insecure, majority, like 90% are housed, right? And so how do we get more food to them? And so Laila mentioned the mobile market. We love that idea. We're trying to find nonprofit partners that we can get to that housed people can come to and get that food. And the prepared food, they love it, right? Yeah. I mean, I always use the analogy of a cauliflower, right? Because people want to say, oh, we should feed people better, right? Which makes sense. I'll give you cauliflower, but do they know how to cook it? Do they have the ingredients to make it taste good? Do they have cooking facilities, right? Some people literally just have a microwave. But if we can give them a fully prepared meal and say, just reheat this, and they don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
And they know their kids are eating well. They have then time to like help the kids with homework because they didn't have to figure out dinner or spend money on dinner. It's such a gift. And so that's something for us. We're trying to find more of those events. And that's actually across our spectrum, catering / cafeterias are our biggest food donors.
Yeah, I mean, that's where my brain went is when you were talking about picking up from the Delta Center the first time. I'm like, just imagine you at the end of one of the festivals at the fairgrounds or something like that. Be like, hey, USANA, like, what are you doing with all this after? And they're like, garbage or you? And be like, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But then it's also like, I love also this story because like there's obviously like a lot of these consistent players like your Whole Foods and Delta Center and that. But I'm sure, like you said, there's people that call you with a broken down semi that says, hey, we have a bunch of this. What are you going to do with it? It's like, honestly, nothing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can't help.
That's the sad part. The fun part of this, though, is, the food bank, as I mentioned, does a great job of large scale. But they have my phone number actually on their wall because there's so much they can't take because of the regulations of being a partner with Feeding America. Like they can't take unlabeled things. So one time a Winco called them and they said, we can't take it. And so they called us and we were able to pick up all this. It was like a pallet of Swiss cheese that just wasn't labeled. And Swiss cheese is pretty clearly Swiss cheese,
yes.
Right? And so things like that. So it's nice to fill this space of like additional food. And that's what the food bank says. They love to be able to say, oh, we can't, but call Wasteless. So it's like another option, right? Because they hated to say no to people and they just couldn't do things. And so it's totally another need that wasn't filled.
Because I can't imagine, because obviously they have, I hope are still value-driven, mission-driven individuals. Yeah. So for them to be like, and because of a policy or something's out of my control, I have to not take this or throw this away, and then be able to turn around and be like, actually, there is someone who can take this.
Yep. Because the other side of what we do is, as mentioned, the prevention, right? And I was just giving a presentation today to a group and did this image of like, there's the farms, there's manufacturing, there's the retail, there's homes, and where the most food waste is. And most people will say restaurants. It's actually in our homes. So 37% along that food chain is actually wasted in our homes.
Wow. And
we can't rescue that. And so that's what's really big for us is just talking to people about food waste to get them to realize it's a problem. Right? Like if people, that's what I believe Laila mentioned, just the culture of this and not being heavy is it doesn't have to be. We talk about like doing better. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to never waste food, but just aware of it. One of my favorite stories in terms of educating people on food waste was I did this talk and a couple weeks later I see a guy that was there and he says, oh my gosh, you've changed my perspective forever. I went to Costco to return some salmon I bought. It was the wrong salmon. And I gave it to him and I was like, wait, what are you going to do with this when I return it? And they said, throw it away. And he literally took it back. He's like, we'll figure out what to do with it. And I was like, that's it. Like, you just saved that fish that died from going to waste. And that's what I say. It's like all of us making small changes. It's not all of us never wasting food again.
Yeah, and there's there's been I said moments, movements that have happened, composting. Like, everybody got into composting. Like, oh, cool, we can put it in our garden, which, step in a good direction. But I'm curious, if people are curious about how they can either help or at least not make the food waste worse, what are some ideas that they can do in their own life?
Yeah. The first thing I mention to people is shop from your fridge and pantry first. Like, before you go to the grocery store, what's in there that needs to be used up? And then plan a meal around that. And I find that's fun, actually, in meal planning, so that you're not overwhelmed of what's going to sound good this week to eat. It's like, oh, I have cabbage going bad. What am I going to make with it? And starting there. And I tell people, just start there and go easy. Don't plan to cook 5 meals a week. For me personally, I look at my schedule for the week and be like, oh, I've got an event this night. I've got a dinner this night. I'm not going to plan to cook as many nights then. So just that pre-planning as well. Just thinking about that. And those are really where I like to just start it, not overwhelm people. You try that, you're going to see an immense improvement in your food waste. And then typically people get really excited then and start doing little challenges and waste even more.
You're or waste less. Next thing you know, they're like, I want to come volunteer. How do I get involved? You're like, yes, take this car of this, take it over there, drop it off to them. They'll be waiting for you.
Exactly.
It's I almost feel like someone could be watching everything that you guys are doing. There's drugs in there somewhere. I know it.
I'm surprised you didn't think that, seeing the van out front and watching Laila moving that thing around.
It did cross my overly active brain at least once. I'm like, Scott, well, it's ironic because there's I won't say the name of the restaurant, but there's a restaurant that I walk by. It's this restaurant where it's a Hispanic restaurant, and on weekends it's a club, but it's only busy from 12:30 to 1 because Latin club. And then I'm I walk by, I'm like, there is not a soul here ever. But then all of a sudden, they'll be doing some random renovation that's at least a $20,000 project, and they'll do that 3 times a year. And I'm just listen, I'm good enough at math to know that the math isn't mathing. And so I see likewise where they're so you have a bunch of 600 volunteers, huh? You got your full-time hires, you got your vans. Yeah, her name's Alice. Yeah. Sure, we believe it.
I've had my car full of food before, to the brim. And I'm if I get pulled over right now, a cop's gonna be like, what are you doing with all of this food?
Especially if it's something just very specific. Why do you have a car full of, I don't even think of anything, just radishes?
I had a car full of go-go squeezes. From
it's very questionable.
Yeah, I was oh my gosh, this is crazy. Yeah, I had boxes and boxes and boxes of go-go squeezes that were all expired. I'm
Cop
we
pulls
are
you
saving
over.
these.
He's you know what? Just go. I don't even want to open up this can of worms.
Yeah.
And we did have some spillage once. I don't know if it was in your car, but in Alice.
There's been lots of
barbecue
spillages.
Beans. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple smells that show up every now and then.
Yeah.
There actually is, because the bottom of the van has this mat that I want to pull out and spray, but we can't figure out how to pull it out. I had my fiance look at it. I'm like, what do we do here? And she's like, we can't.
Just absorbs everything.
It's underneath. It's gnarly. It's pretty bad.
Noted. Alice has a little bit of a gastrointestinal issue.
Yes, there is a step. Yeah.
Noted. Do not sit in the back of Alice unless I'm in an entire hazmat suit.
Yep.
But Laila, I'm curious about, being the community engagement manager. What kind of things do you want to do? How do you see yourself engaging with the community? Looking forward.
Yeah, I feel like I always have a million ideas. It's just getting the resources to just execute, We're a pretty small organization, so the amount of success just in every month is insane. But I would love to just see, we've been talking about this mobile market project, and now that we just got a new van, being able to reach other areas of the valley that our food rescue program doesn't. So we envision like filling up the van with prepared meals and having vegetables from farmers markets and driving to a destination, promoting it, and everybody coming with their bags and ready to fill up and providing food that would last, them a week or 2 weeks. And then we come back and people are just able to access food in what's called like a food desert. So like a food desert is somewhere where your access to food is more than a mile away. So someone without access to a car or transportation like would have to walk more than a mile to get food, which is wild. So being able to reach further areas of the valley, I feel like our food donors are very concentrated on the east side. We'd love to expand to the west side and getting food donors there, but I feel like a lot of the food donors over there potentially would be a lot of chain restaurants or ethnic markets. So being able to tap into that market would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's an ethnic market in that area, the population's probably nearby. So they're like, oh, shoot, like, again, I don't have to have this uncooked cauliflower and be like, oh boy, so excited. Or someone who's never had broccoli being like, I don't like nor want nor do this. But if it's something a little bit more close to home, then, I mean, everybody wins.
Yeah, but we also do see that a lot of like the smaller markets, they just don't have food waste. They can't afford it. So
you're like, gold star, you guys are doing great.
Yeah, like nailing it, yeah. So I think that is a very cool opportunity, would be like the mobile market project, seeing that through. And then obviously would love to just solve food waste.
Casual. Yeah.
Just casually solving it in Utah.
Yeah.
There's 600,000 tons of food that goes to waste every year just in Utah alone. So being able to like significantly reduce that would significantly reduce methane gas emissions. It would save millions of gallons of water. It would feed so many people if we could divert that waste to them. And yeah, there's big goals to be had, but we need everybody to have a piece in it.
Yes. What about you? Go for it.
I was just going to say, and adding to that, how we're trying to get people engaged is April's Earth Month.
Yes.
And we have some fun events. We're going to take a tour of the landfill. We're super excited about.
I'm so excited for you guys to do that. That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
What day is it? I think I'm busy that day. Or I was sick. I can't remember which one.
I could see that. Guys, thank you for being honest about that.
Listen, I'm not, oh, yeah, let's go grab coffee. Like, I love that you're doing this for our community, Dana. I'm so excited for people to have that with you.
Thank you for staying true to your earlier comment.
Bingo.
And we're going to get to learn about recycling and see that food waste is actually one of the number one items in the landfill.
Yeah.
So, right, we sometimes don't see it. We just put it in the trash, forget about it. So this is a great, fun opportunity. And then we've got a Brews and a Better Planet night.
That's more my speed. There we go.
You better be there.
Where at?
Keto's Brewing.
Okay.
April 17th. 6
I
o'clock.
will be here. I will be there.
Okay. We'll make sure we bring your credit card at the end of this.
Bingo.
But no bingo. We're going to do a trivia, though.
Ooh.
Food waste trivia. So
Big
we
trivia
can
guy.
educate people.
And I've learned so much that I'm like ready to go. Like, how do you know about this? Be like, listen. Have me on your team.
We're super excited because it's fun. We get to get together with our people, like-minded people getting together and having fun for a good cause. We're going to hopefully raise some money for Earth Month around it.
Yeah.
But to Laila's point, right, that it's each of these we see as an opportunity to engage more people, educate more people, raise more money because it's not easy work and it all takes money.
Yes.
Yep.
It is the thing that everybody needs to make their visions come true. And yeah, gas doesn't pay for itself. Alice still has her gastrointestinal issues and needs to get a...
Alex needs a detail, so... Or Alice, sorry,
yeah.
Not Alex.
Like, who's he? Why does he need a detail?
Alice
We can't just take care of Alice's boy, whoever she's dating. Is it even official yet?
Wait, maybe that's her brother.
Alice and Alex.
Alice and Alex.
Alex. Done.
There we go.
Right here on Small Lake City.
You're welcome. It's amazing. I mean, Dana, anything else that you see, the organization going through or where you see it going outside of kind of the stuff that Laila talks about?
Yeah, I think that was it. I think for us, like people ask us, where's next in terms of growth, and we're in 4 counties. we, at this point, have grown so much, we kind of want to take this year to just solidify our foundation. And when I say Salt Lake, I say, oh my gosh, we probably have like 1%. Like, we're doing so much. And since 2018, we've rescued like what, 2.6 million? Is that the right latest?
Yeah,
number?
I think we're at 2.6. Yeah.
Wow.
Million pounds, which sounds like a lot, and it is. We're grateful, but I think of the potential in Salt Lake County. As Laila mentioned, these pockets of Salt Lake County where we're not at. Like, we'd love in like Harriman, right? It's too far for someone in downtown Salt Lake to drive, but if we could build up Harriman, where we've got food donors, receiving agencies, and volunteers all in that city, and that city's keep taking care of itself. So it's like the mutual aid model that Laila mentioned. Like, that's what we would love to see next, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine there's a world where, I mean, some neighborhood city as big as Harriman, there's not 3 or 4 people like, hey, we can do this.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, there's 8 and 12 and 600 and people come together. And what a great way to build a community. Like, there was a time, so when in 2022, I lived in a van for 6 months traveling the country. And one thing I realized is, like, if you run into people at like national parks, state parks, campgrounds, they're usually good people.
Yes.
And like, in a similar way, if you're going to interact with people in a community that's, I mean, again, like providing food to people that need it, being able to like create this ecosystem where we don't have to have as much waste, like likely good people. Mm-hmm. And so even if it's, I mean, people who are like semi-interested, it's like, why wouldn't you want to go spend time in a good cause and go meet some people? Because like, that's one of my things I hear the most from like the broader population is like, I want to meet new people. I don't know how to do it. It's so hard now that school's been over. I don't want to spend more time with coworkers. I don't want to go to bars. I hate dating apps. And it's like, hey, like, go outside.
Yes.
Nothing's going to happen in your house.
Right.
And go get involved in some cool causes and go, like, again, if it's like an initiative, and like even on like the dating, well, yeah, it applies to friends too. Like if you're, doing something you're passionate about and someone else doing something you're passionate about, then boom, like you already have like one core foundation of like a relationship is like a shared mutual interest in missions and values. So like, go donate your time is what I'm saying, people.
And then maybe Salt Lake City becomes a dating app because now you're connecting people through all of your guests and their missions.
Swipe right and bring your extra food.
Yeah.
I can find
it. Ooh.
I actually do want to have a speed dating event. Not because like I'm passionate about speed dating, but I've always just wanted to have a speed dating experience, so I might as well just do it.
Creative.
If no one's going to do it for me, I'll do it.
I tried to do that for I run like a women's backcountry ski group, and I tried to do that, but there were so many people that as soon as they all showed up, we were like, we're not doing it.
Never
we can't
mind.
do it.
Everybody go make a friend.
We just started skiing. We're like, that's better.
A for effort, F for success.
There is ways to do. I think like someone in our office was talking about doing like media speed dating. Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe we could have you there. Get some people on your podcast.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool people in our office.
Yeah, we work in a nonprofit co-working space called Indie Square. So it's all nonprofits in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good people doing good stuff.
Absolutely. It's great energy to be in every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goes back to what you were saying, just like when the empathy you have when you see and can be close to people that are experiencing things. It's just been great to kind of, and when we've had bad days of like the heaviness of this, we just look around in our office space and like, okay, we're here. We're doing what we can today. So are they. So are they. So are they. We got this. We got this.
Action is being had.
Yes.
Because anxiety without action is just perpetual, banging your head against a wall.
Yeah. What is the saying? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yep.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, it is.
Just keep banging that head. And then there's some people you'll grab, like, hey, stop banging your head in the wall. They're like, oh, I didn't know I was doing this.
Yeah.
And then they'll turn around and find another wall. And you're like, never mind. This is a you thing at this point.
I know a lot of people like that.
We all do. Friends, family, loved ones, everything in between.
Wow. This was so fun.
Cool. Yeah, no, I love being able to just sit and talk to people about the things that they're most passionate about.
I know it's like you bring out the good in everyone, so it makes it easy. You're not like, tell me about your.
So tell me the first time that you felt trauma in your youth. Oh, I could never. Like I have friends that, like one of my friends does it's the Girls Camp podcast. It's like a ex-Mormon, post-Mormon podcast, and like I've gone through that process in my life, and I'm now at a point of like indifference, which is great. But like the thought of like my life is revolving around like this religion I have this like negative energy towards, and like falling like. no, I don't care how much money it makes. I don't care how much following it is. Like, not the energy I want.
Yeah. Yeah. You're connecting people and it's more lighthearted and fun, but good work.
Yeah. Well, Dana and Laila, I want to end with the 2 questions I always ask everybody at the end of each episode. Number 1, if you each could have someone on the Small Lake City podcast and hear more about what they're up to in their story, who would you want to hear from?
My friend Addie Jacobson.
Okay.
She is a pro skier here and does a lot to empower women in skiing and any outdoor sports. So she'd be a really awesome person to have on. She produced the women's ski film Advice for Girls, and her and I have started Backcountry Baddies this year.
Cool.
So she's just like a mover and a shaker, and she'd be awesome to bring on.
Love that. Sounds like a similar friend of mine, Caroline Gleich. We should put them together.
Yeah, so I saw Caroline Gleich. I was organizing an event for Backcountry Baddies, and I saw her at Backcountry, and I was like shaking. I was like, she's so cool. I gotta go talk to her.
Yeah, she's the best.
So yeah, I adore her.
Yeah, no, Caroline's great.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, being really young and like in a professional role, like a lot of people will instantly gravitate towards Dana in a conversation, which is totally fair. Like, you're the founder of the organization and mover and shaker, but I'm like, I also like want to say something. So
I'm here to. Yep. No,
So-
don't box me out.
thank you for addressing both of us. It's been really lovely.
No, I very rarely will be in a conversation with multiple people and like, all right, so anyway. Like,
Right. And then my other person is a personal shout out, my daughter. So she made this.
I was going to say, I didn't notice when you walked in.
Yeah.
But I see it. So just in case no one's watching on YouTube or just listening, Dana's wearing a skirt made out of neckties.
Yeah. So she is a fashion designer doing upcycled. So she goes to the Goodwill bins a lot, gets stuff that literally is on its way to the trash and repurposes it.
Where did she get this like idea from?
So she has been.
Does she have a mother that does something similar?
Well, no, here's what's funny is, yes, the sustainability side, but I am not a fashionista. And she, at 2 years old, there was 1 week, I literally took pictures every day because I knew something was happening. She started dressing herself at 2, and she would take the weirdest stuff out of the closet and put it together. And I was like, okay, girl. And I'd take a picture because I was like, wow, didn't see that. And I'd never dressed her again. She had an opinion about what she wore. And when you look at, like, especially when she was in elementary school, so eclectic, so wild, teachers at school, boys at school, and not, in the romantic way, just like, wow, what's she going to wear today? That she kind of, figured out, she was out exploring what she wanted to do in life. And it was like science and math and film. And then she came back to fashion. I was like, that makes sense. But so, yeah, she takes stuff, ties. Most men don't wear ties anymore unless you go to church. And so they're full at the bins at the Goodwill. She finds them at estate sales and makes cool stuff out of them, but not just ties, just any stuff. So shout out to her because I just think it's so fun what she's doing. And fast fashion is just horrible for our planet as well. So
Exactly.
And she's just amazing at it. Everything she makes is so cool.
There we go. The best of both worlds. Things that help take things from landfills and look good.
Yeah.
Why not? And then lastly, if people want to find out more information about Wasteless or get involved, what's the best place to find information?
It depends on the person, but I would say Wasteless Solutions on Instagram.
Okay.
If you're on Facebook, we're on Facebook, Wasteless Solutions, and then wastelesssolutions.org. You can find everything about our programs, our mission history, everything is there. But I would say we're active on Instagram and Facebook mostly for like events or just updates, recaps, everything.
food waste tips.
Food waste tips.
Food waste tips, yes.
Yeah.
All the things. Yeah, so make sure you're getting involved. There's opportunities to come volunteer, come meet some new people, do some cool stuff. Come to the events coming on for Earth Month.
Yeah.
And yeah, come meet some cool people.
So fun talking with you.
No,
Love what you do.
Love having cool people. I just get to highlight cool people. I don't do anything great. I just sit there and talk.
But you make it easy and comfortable, and that is a skill.
True. I've learned that I am that person. Like, I'm at a point that like the last few years have been like very transformational for me and like understanding who I am and like confident about it. Like, cause some people I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just like a pretty witty person. Like, you said that confident. I'm like, yeah, it's just something I know that I am. And like, I've also learned like I'm the person that people are like, oh, I don't usually feel comfortable. Like, I don't usually talk to people about this. Like, don't usually do this. I'm like, I know. Like, I it's okay.
It's your gift.
like just keep going. I know you need to, and I don't mind, and I'd love to listen. So
I love it. It's a beautiful gift. Someone today asked me at the event I was speaking at, like, how do you word it? How do food secure people help food insecure people? And it kind of was like, I don't know, I'd never thought about that. And so what first came to me was this, like, meeting people where they are. Right? Like, you can't be prescriptive and be like, you need to do this, this, and this. You know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Right? Exactly. Thank you for rolling your eyes. Exactly. And that was the first thing that came to me. Like, let's just meet people where they are. And that's what you're doing.
I love a good old white savior coming into a problem they know nothing about and using all of the knowledge they have none of to make sure that they can tell the people who know way more than them about whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
It's probably never happened to either of you in your lives.
As women, never.
Never.
So, well, Laila, Dana, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody get involved. So many cool things going on, and yet keep on doing the great stuff you guys are doing. It's amazing.
You. Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Salt Lake City Podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, review, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends. And we'll catch you next week. We'll see you there.